Jensen, now you seem to be the master at picking the right tyres. You're on the right tyre for the start of this Grand Prix. You'll be watching them all pit in front of you after 3 or 4 laps, I presume.
Yeah, I mean, we're in that position, aren't we? You know, we're not quite quick enough to fight it out at the front. So you can make different calls and try different things. And you know, our aim yesterday was to try and be the first guy on prime tyres for the race, and it worked out pretty well. So we will see how it goes, but yeah, we don't know if the strategy is going to work. It really depends on what other people do and how quickly those tyres degrade that the other guys in front have.
Just give an insight to the people at home. At what point in the Grand Prix will we start to see, you know, this is how it's playing out in terms of who's got a chance of being the podium and picking up the points? Is it going to be fairly late on? Is it going to be right at the end of the Grand Prix?
I think you'll probably know by, I'd say about lap 25, 26, I reckon.
Okay, you're looking relaxed. Have a great race.
Cheers.
Right, we're just going to take a little wander here. I want to have a word with the man that is talk of the Grand Prix, of course, is all about tyres. He's just having a talk with one of his technical engineers here. But Paul Hembry is the man that has to field all of the praise when the tyre does a good job and all of the criticism when people are saying that they're just not, basically they're not fit for purpose. They're throwing off too many bits of marbles and what have you. So let's just see if we can get a word with Paul. Can't imagine what they're discussing at this point. Paul, can I jump in? So Paul Hembry, thanks. Now, I was just saying, you're the man that gets all the praise when the drivers are happy and they win, and you get all the criticism. And there's a lot of that right now. So quickly, just address that and then get us into what's going to happen here this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, actually. I've had 8 team principals come to me and compliment me this weekend for what we've done, because if you see, you know, nobody knows who's going to win. There's a lot of strategies to be involved, and that's what they say we've been asked to do, and that's what we're delivering. So who's going to deliver today? Well, who knows? I mean, the first stint, obviously, for the boys at the front, for Lewis in particular, is critical, because he needs to get at least 5 laps. We'll probably pit after 5 or 6. You've then got what's going to happen with Seb at the end of the race when he puts the soft on. Has he done the right thing? We'll see at the end.
Well, if you're a racing driver, armed with all the information you have on tyres, would you prefer to be sitting here now on the prime tyre, or, you know, having had the grid position, keeping out of trouble at the front?
I think if Lewis is in a good position, if he can resist Alonso at the start, you know, and Fernando's really good at the start, you know, he's shown that he can often jump a couple of places. So if Lewis can keep Fernando behind him in those first few laps, I think he's in a good position.
Okay, well, congratulations on winning the Grand Prix. Guaranteed to win every time, aren't they? Irrespective of what opinion is. Now, here's a man that's done a pretty good job here. Daniel Ricciardo. Oh, look at that, he's picking out rubber from the front of his car. He's going to talk to his engineer. He wasn't happy with that. See, what happens is, if you look at the slot gap down on the front wing, you get bits of rubber get stuck in there, and of course it affects the whole efficiency and airflow of the front wing. So there's a driver, and I'll just give you an example, and I'll even help Daniel here. Look at that. I'm going to take that rubber off. That's not good for flow.
Call me if you want, mate.
Well, that's it. While you were talking with the engineer, I thought I'd clean your front wing, but it's obviously an important part. I've got a buddy here going to join us. You might know this man. Now, you had a great qualifying. Now, have you sort of shot your bolt in terms of tyres, or are you still in a good position here going forward?
You know, I guess we'll see at the end of the race. You know, a few guys are obviously thinking we have a few guys saved the tyres, but you know, we had to go for it. You know, it's not often we get in the Q3, and you know, 7th is definitely better than 10th for us. So I'm happy we went for it. Now we'll see if it's the right move, but closer to the front, the better.
Okay, well, good luck. Have a good race. Right, I'm going to take a wander further back down the grid here, because Sebastian Vettel in the news, and clearly out of position under normal conditions. He went with a strategy here similar to Jensen, and going with that prime tyre. We'll just move ourselves around in behind RTL. Kai Abel here does a bit of boxing in his spare time. Look at the size of those shoulders. Seb there looking pretty relaxed. He must be wondering, right, what's going to happen here this afternoon? Going to expect the guys in front of him to peel in after 3, 4, 5 laps maybe, and then on that prime tyre, you have a fresh set of them, presumably. He'll be able to sit out there and try and get some clean air and open the gap, and it's all going to be about the overlaps this afternoon. Sebastian, whilst you cool yourself off there, just a quick word. Now, out of position on the grid, but on the right tyre for the race. So how is your mindset different going into this in comparison to your normal front row or pole position?
Well, I mean, it's a different approach. Whether it works or not, we'll see. But I'm confident. I think we had reason to believe in the strategy yesterday, and yeah, I'm confident to start on the right tyre today.
Okay, when would we expect to see the soft tire being run? A bit like we've seen in some Grand Prix where it's like the last 1 lap or 2 laps?
Sooner than us, I hope. So now we'll see. I don't think the soft tire makes it very far. Everything else would be a surprise.
Okay, one last question. Anything else that the general public should know about this Grand Prix? Challenges? Any other fears, concerns that you have at this race over a normal Grand Prix?
Well, it's pretty hard on tires and unusual for tire deck. It's mostly the front tire that starts to give up, so hopefully we keep that under control.
Okay, wish you luck. Right, we're going to wander further down the grid here, and I believe that we'll be able to try and see if we can find Nico Rosberg. Now, he was super confident going into this Grand Prix weekend. Did a lot of simulation work. The simulation work told them that we would win this Grand Prix. Well, they've certainly managed to get one of their men on pole. Nico fell short of that, but he's going to be a real threat during the race. He'll, of course, know the strategy of the pole man. That's one of the benefits of being a teammate, of course. You know exactly what the guy with the same car as you know what he's doing, you know what his strategy is, and you just need to try and work it to your advantage. Nico's been growing and growing in confidence, and certainly showed Michael Schumacher just how fast he is. Let's just wait for Kai again. It seems to be a day of following RTL. It's not even like he's speaking and he's... Oh, can we take a walk with you, Nico? Are you going to... Right, he's off to freshen up. So, Nico, ahead of the Grand Prix, slightly out of position, possibly, over what you personally would have expected. But what can you do from 4th on the grid? You know the strategy of the pole man.
Yeah, no, 4th on the grid is okay. I think I definitely have a really quick race car, maybe even the quickest car, So the big difficulty is the option tires in the beginning, because they're going to grain massively, and it's not a question of how many laps you're going to be able to do, it's a question of how many corners before they're completely finished. So that's going to be a big challenge for everybody. From then on, it should be a bit more of a normal race, on the harder tire, and good car then, so I'm really confident I can move forward.
Well, we wish you luck with that. Tell us, everyone will be in on those options before lap 4, lap 5. Can they get as far as that?
It's going to be around there, maybe even 6, 7, I don't know. We have to wait. It really depends on the conditions and the graining.
Okay, well, good luck with that. Oh, just got a whack there. Now, I don't think I'm going to have time to wander back onto the grid, but what I would like, if we can just walk down to where we're going to be level here with the pole man, and what I might do is, Andy, oh, there is a gap here. Look at that. They've got 2 gaps positioned in the pit lane. Yeah, there's Beat, team manager of Sauber, giving me some direction. Small gap here. Let's take Andy, if we look down here, 300 meters to the first corner, very open apex entry to turn 1. They go in there absolutely flat out in 7th gear. So we won't see the concertina effect at turn 1, which should mean that there's probably less risk of safety car at that point. But turn 2 and 3, they've got to be careful that they're not banging into each other. Now, our pole man, Lewis Hamilton, I don't think he's around here at the moment, but see Ross Brawn there. We've had a word with Ross already for the Grand Prix. And at this point, I'm not sure if I'm seeing anyone else. Let's just keep wandering around here, around the back of that Mercedes car. Works of art, aren't they? Just look at that internal brake there. Very rarely get the chance to see that, but just a beautiful works of art. Amazing that come the end of the year, this is considered an ugly thing. So racing's all about winning, of course. Here's a man that now knows a little bit more intimately the Mercedes team. Talking to Sky Germany, so just wait and see if we can get a word with Nicky. Mr. Ecclestone here, taking some dignitaries down the pit lane. Got some representatives there of the title sponsor, and representative there from Saudi Arabia, I believe, Crown Prince. Back to Nicky, he's taking a long time to think about this answer. I think it's the team order. Actually, let's just get Toto Wolff here. Can we get a quick word from Toto? Oh, he's going to, well, we'll let you do your thing with Bernie. They can introduce each other, they're big boys. Toto, you're still relatively fresh in this role, but it's so far so good, the restructuring's working.
Yeah, I think it's not what I restructured, but what the guys did last year.
What are you thinking is going to be the podium today? You've clearly got the pole man, but can you get Nico up there, or who do you see as your main threat?
Yeah, I hope so, but it's going to be all about strategy. I guess we're going to see the real win at the end of the race when you see the last pit stop. So a difficult one.
Yeah, well, we wish you luck with that. And I think at this point, I'm going to hand back to Susie and Eddie, and I'll speak to you later from the commentary box.